We've got turf strips in this plot. Basically, they're 2 metres wide. What we've tried to do with this, we've tried to sort of simulate different scenarios you'd get. So with this one, we're really talking more about the sediment trapping capability of turf. So what we've done is we've laid the turf, we've built this dirt up a little bit deeper than the rest, so it's up to the edge. And as you can see, we've run it on it once before, but what we tend to get is a sort of flume of sediment as it sort of settles out. And by the time it hits the bottom, most of the bigger stuff's been captured. In terms of the turf, I often get asked how much this stuff costs. As you can see, it's the cheapest stuff you can get, and it's a bit rough and ready in this one, that's for sure. So I think I paid about $3 or $4 a metre for it. I asked for the cheapest he had. I guess the reason being is I'm trying to educate the industry as much as everybody that comes along to one of these days about the fact that this turf's a different use than what you'd expect normally. The turf we're standing on around the facilities there to look good, it's an ornamental turf. I'm sort of pushing that this stuff is more of a functional or environmental turf. So it's like a working dog and a poodle. One's supposed to look good and not do much. The other one's actually supposed to work for its living. So that's the sort of approach I'm trying to take. And the producers, to be honest with you, the turf producers are finding that the hardest to deal with out of everybody so far.
I think the great thing with this, you can see how the flow is being spread. It's hit, the roughness is spreading the flow much more effectively. It's not going to get tunneled under. It is gradually being flooded, but it's dealing with some pretty serious rilling. And obviously your strip widths would be adjusted depending upon the risk of your site, but it's great stuff for spreading flow, slowing it down. You can see the difference in the concentration, the difference in the turbulence.
And as we said, this stuff's been down longer than we normally would leave it down. We tend to do them all on a week out, but even with that, we don't often see any sort of difference in the way it's performing, if you know what I mean. Within about 7 or 8 days is what Rob found, and that's about what we found as well. Within a week or so, it's down enough that it's a bugger to pull up, but also that it's doing its job that you want it to be doing when it's down. So it doesn't tunnel under it, and it starts to capture the sort of sediment you'd hope it to capture. Look, you can see the water coming off at the end now into the tray. It's not clean, that's for sure, but it's much better than the other stuff. But this, I guess, as I said, it's more about the sediment trapping than the filtering of the water. But as you can see, it's much cleaner than the last lot. All right, so we'll run for a couple more minutes. Will's just collecting some samples down the other end there now, so you can sort of see the difference just visually, but we'll do the readings soon as well.
Actually, from up here, the view is classic, that you've got your rill, a big fan, the flow spread on the turf, and then you've got another rill, and then the flow spreading. And again, it's just the response to the change in surface roughness. Very classic. You're also seeing well-developed head cuts. Something to bear in mind with the rill, when it forms, they don't, except when you've got a lot of surface roughness, they generally don't punch down slope. In fact, you normally get a head cut like this that chews its way up slope. When they've been very active, you'll see that sharp cut side. And at the worst, and this is when it's a case of be very concerned, these are quite broad. Your width to depth ratio is actually quite high. When you get the really narrow, sharply incised ones, that's time, as I say, to be very, very worried, because basically it's just going chop. It means that you've got highly transportable sediment and it's nothing in the base to stop it.